जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जन रंजना। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी। जय कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा। कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा। जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय। गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय। जय विश्वगुरु श्रील प्रभुपदा। विश्वगुरु श्रील प्रभुपदा। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद। Jai Mishnapat Paramahansa Parivrajakacarya Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Vishwaguru A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Mishnapat Paramahansa Parivrajakacarya Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Prem Sakaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्भागवतम की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण रुक्मिणी सत्यभामा की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय। विश्वगुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 26, Fundamental Principles of Material Nature, verses 53 and 54. And 55. Verse 53 and 54 I'll read by myself. 54 as a short purport. 55 we will chant together. You have the verses, no? Up to 55? You have? Okay. Hiranmaya dandakosad utthaya salileshayat tamavishya mahadevo bahuda nirbibeda kham. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Virat Purusha, situated himself in that golden egg which was lying on the water, and he divided it into many departments. Text 54. Nirabidyatasya prathamam mukham vani tato bhavat vanyavakniratho nase pranoto granayetayoh. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. First of all, a mouth appeared in him, and then came forth the organ of speech, and with it the body, and with it the god of fire, the deity who presides over that organ. Then a pair of nostrils appeared, and in them appeared the olfactory sense, as well as prana, the vital air. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. With the manifestation of speech, fire also became manifested, and with the manifestation of nostrils, the vital air, the breathing process, and the smells and the sense of smell also became manifested. Text 55, we will chant together. Granat vayuhu abhidyetam. Granat vayurabhidyetam. Granat vayurabhidyetam. Akshini chakshur etayoho. Akshini chakshuretayoho. Akshini chakshuretayoho. Tasmat suryaha nyabhidyetam. Tasmat suryo nyabhidyetam. Tasmat suryo nyabhidyetam. Karnau Shrotram Tataha Dishaha. Karnau Shrotram Tato Dishaha. Karnau Shrotram Tato Dishaha. Granadvayurabhidyetam. Akshini chakshuretayoh. Tasmat suryo nyabhidyetam. Karnau shrotram tato dishaha. Granadvayurabhidyetam. Akshini chakshuretayoh. Tasmat suryo nyabhidyetam. कर्णौ श्रोत्रं ततो दिशः घ्राणाद्वायुरविद्येताम् अक्षिणी चक्षुरे तयोः तस्मात् सूर्यो न विद्येताम् कर्णौ श्रोत्रं ततो दिशः घ्राणाद्वायुरविद्येताम् अक्षिणी चक्षुरे तयोः तस्मात् सूर्यो न विद्येताम् कर्णौ श्रोत्रं ततो दिशः घ्राणाद्वायुरविद्येताम् अक्षिणी चक्षुरे तयोः तस्मात् सूर्यो न विद्येताम् कर्णौ श्रोत्रं ततो दिशः. Granat, from the olfactory sense. Vayu, the wind god. Avidyetam, appeared. Akshini, the two eyes. Chakshu, the sense of sight. Etayoho, in them. Tasmat, from that. Suryaha, the sun god. Nyabidyetam, appeared. Karnau, the 2 ears. Shrotram, the auditory sense. Tataha, from that. Dishaha, the deities presiding over the directions. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. In the wake of the olfactory sense came the wind god who presides over that sense. Thereafter, a pair of eyes appeared in the universal form, and in them the sense of sight. In the wake of this sense came the sun god who presides over it. Next, there appeared in him a pair of ears, and in them the auditory sense, and in its wake the devatas, or the deities who preside over the directions. Kindly repeat. In the wake of the olfactory sense came the wind god who presides over that sense. Thereafter, a pair of eyes appeared in the universal form, and in them the sense of sight. In the wake of this sense came the sun god who presides over it. Next, there appeared in him a pair of ears, and in them the auditory sense, and in its wake the devatas, or the deities who preside over the directions. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The appearance of different bodily parts of the Lord's universal form and the appearance of the presiding deities of those bodily parts is being described. As in the womb of a mother, a child gradually grows different bodily parts, so in the universal womb, the universal form of the Lord gives rise to the creation of various paraphernalia. The senses appear, and over each of them there is a presiding deity. It is corroborated by this statement of Srimad-Bhagavatam and also by Brahma Samhita that the sun appeared after the appearance of the eyes of the universal form of the Lord. The sun is dependent on the eyes of the universal form. The Brahma Samhita also says that the sun is the eye of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Yat chakshuresha savita. Savita means the sun. The sun is the eye of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, everything is created by the universal body of the Supreme Godhead. Material nature is simply the supplier of the materials. The creation is actually done by the Supreme Lord, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 10. Maya dhyakshyena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. Under my direction does material nature create all moving and non-moving objects in the cosmic creation. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanachalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारणम्. Some years back, I think this was in the year 2011 or so, we were making a dress for DT dress for Radha Vrindavan. So we had got a sponsor. I think it was for the new year of 2012. So we had got a sponsor for the dress, and so we were thinking, because we had a little bit more budget, we were thinking how to make the dress grand. And this dress, by the design, had to have lots in that. And so we were thinking how to make this dress grand. So we thought, why not have some stones which will be more glittering? So generally the stones which they use are all plastic, you see. They are okay. They reflect some amount of light, but they are pretty dull. So we thought, okay, let us put something which will glitter more. Then we found out Swarovski crystals. They are much better quality. They are from, I think, Switzerland or somewhere, some company like that. And they are of good quality. They glitter more than the regular stones, plastic stones which are available. So then we found out the Swarovski's, their office, which was in Delhi, when they gave our requirement, and they gave a total estimate. It came to about, I think, at those days, I'm talking of 2011, it was about almost 18 or 20,000 rupees. So if we had bought regular, those plastic jewel kind of things, it would have costed a few thousand rupees, maybe 2,000, 3,000 rupees. This was almost 10 times the price. But when we saw that under the light, the Swarovski crystals, we thought, yes, this is worth spending 20K. So we bought that and used that for the dress for Radha Vrindavan. And we saw that even after many years, its glitter was still there. Unlike the normal stones which you buy, after 2, 3, 4, 5 years, it will become black. So, but this was really shining bright. And you know, our DTs, we have all those focus lights and all that, really shining. So you see, stone which shines more actually costs more expensive. Similarly, when we came to Chennai, we have Krishna, Rukmini, Satyabhama. When we were getting the jewelry done for them, we were looking at various options. One was to make crowns and jewels with regular normal stones. So these normal stones cost a certain amount of money. So, but then another jeweler was there. He suggested, why don't you use American diamonds, AD. It's called AG. They are also artificial diamonds, not real diamonds. But they are much better quality than local stones which are available. So we used those American diamond stones. That's how most of our jewelry, you see, Krishna, Rukmini, Satyabhama, they'll be shining. All the stones are really glittering because it's American diamond. But American diamond is expensive. If you use regular stones, if the jewelry costs 15,000, American diamond will cost 60,000, 80,000, 1 lakh. So it's expensive. Why? Because each stone, it goes by the cost of each stone. The more number of stones you put, the more cost will go up. Why? Because American diamond, the shine lasts for longer. So you see, anything which is more shining is more expensive. It is considered more valuable. In the Vedic literature, there is a description of one such jewel called Suryakanta jewel. Now these jewels, whether it is Swarovski, whether it is American diamond, they reflect light to some extent. But the Suryakanta jewel, it is said that if sun rays fall on it, it will brightly reflect it and it will also emit fire. Just like you all have done experiment in your childhood. You take a convex lens, focus on a piece of paper. After some time, slowly the paper will set on fire, right? Suryakanta jewel is not a lens. Light falls on it, it will reflect and it will generate fire also. So you can imagine how valuable it must be. So Suryakanta that's why it's called Suryakanta. It reflects the sunlight and it also emanates fire, like the sun. But no matter how precious a jewel may be, imagine if you get a Suryakanta jewel today, somebody possesses Suryakanta jewel, expose it to the sunlight, take it out, and it will start generating fire. How valuable it will be. People will be ready to pay crores for it, especially because there is no LPG now. So you can use that and set fire and everywhere, wherever you need. So you can imagine how expensive it will be, right? Very, very valuable. Nowadays, of course, it's not to be found so easily. Very rare, extremely rare, but very valuable. But no matter how valuable the jewel is, it may be a ruby, it may be a diamond, it may be Suryakanta, it may be Swarovski, it may be American diamond, whatever you take. All jewels, no matter how expensive they are, even if it is Suryakanta, they all don't possess their own source of light. They all reflect the sunlight. They can only reflect the sunlight. They cannot produce light of their own. This is a characteristic of this material world. This material world, whatever you find, whether all the jewels, they all reflect sunlight only. So in the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that sun, which is the original sun, which is the original source of light within the material world, Yet chakshuresha savita sakala grahanam raja samasta suramurti rashesha tejaha yasyajnaya brahmati sambrata kala chakro govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So in the Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma prays that sun, yet chakshuresha savita sakala grahanam raja samasta suramurti rashesha tejaha. That sun has ashesha teja. It has got unlimited light. It is emanating unlimited light and heat. How many billions of years the sun has been existing? But still, with undiminished light and heat, the sun is continuing to emit. So it's practically almost like unlimited heat and light the sun is emitting. That sun is, because the sun is emanating so much heat and light continuously, and it is not diminishing at all, it is called Raja Samasta Suramurtir. It is called the king of the planets. Sakalagrahanam Raja. It is called the king of all planets. We have planets like the sun, the earth, Mars, etc. Right? But the sun is the source of heat and light which makes all the planets livable. It makes possible life. If there is no sunlight, there is no life. You may have water, you may have air, everything you may have. Sunlight is not there, you cannot have life. You won't have crops, you won't have vegetables, you won't have food. You cannot live. So, because that one sun is illuminating the entire universe and sustaining life in this universe, therefore, Sakalagrahanam Raja, the sun is called the king of all planets. And that sun, which is a source of unlimited heat and light, and which is the king of all planets, yet Chakshuresha, that sun is considered like the eye of the Supreme Lord. Why? Because unless the Supreme Lord sees, we cannot see. Because the Supreme Lord sees and He has willed, therefore the sun provides sunlight by which we are able to see. Our power of sight is dependent on the sun, it is not independent. So therefore, the sun is compared to the eye of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And not only this, Lord Brahma also prays, Shri Shri Krishna Rukmini Satyabhama ki jai. Yasyajnaya Brahmati Sambrita Kala Chakro. That sun is going around, it's rotating on its orbit. Sambrita Kala Chakraha. It is rotating, it is going around in its orbit out of great fear for Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. That Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Oh, Krishna will chastise me, he will punish me if I don't do my duty. So I have to properly maintain my course. So that proper distance is maintained between the planets. There is proper cycle of summer, winter, all these seasons. All this is made possible because of the movements of the sun. Movements of the sun and all the other planets also. So, that sun, not only the sun, all the planets, if the king of the planets is maintaining his orbit out of great fear of Krishna, Govinda, so naturally all the other planets also will be maintaining their orbits out of great fear of chastisement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And then Brahma also prays, Bhaswan yatasma sakaleshu nijeshu tejaha swiyam kiyat prakatayatyapatadvadatra Brahma yesha jagadanda vidhana karta govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So Brahma says, Bhaswan, that sun, which is most brilliant, and it is the king of all the planets, that is Bhaswan, the sun which is brilliantly effulgent. Bhaswan yatha, like the sun, Bhaswan yatha ashma, all the jewels, they are reflecting that sunlight. Bhaswan of that sun, all the jewels are reflecting the sunlight, like Suryakanta and others. You can add Swarovski also, American diamond also, even the normal plastic jewels also, all of them. They are reflecting that light from that supreme, from that sun. Bhaswan itashma sakaleshu. Sakaleshu ashma. All the jewels, they are all reflecting the sunlight which is coming from the sun. Nijeshu tejaha. And that sun is that none of the jewels have their own light. They are all reflecting the sunlight. Bhasman yathasma sakaleshu nijeshu teja swiyam kiyat prakatayatyapi. And that sunlight is, the sun is manifesting that sunlight. The sun is manifesting the heat and light. Tadvat atra, like that, actually, just like all the jewels like Suryakanta, etc., are reflecting the light of the sun only. They don't have their own light. Similarly, the sun is also reflecting. Tadvadatra. That sun is also reflecting the light. Sun is not having its own source of light. This is really revolutionary, this statement. Modern scientists and we all, what do we tend to think? The sun has its own source. They will tell. So many fusion reactions are going on, fission reactions are going on, nuclear, all those, because of that light and heat are coming. They may say all that. But the Shastras state that even the sun is not having its own source of light. It is also reflecting light. So the scientists may say, no. Science is saying we have discovered that sun, there is fusion reaction, nuclear fusion going on. That's why the light and heat are coming. Have you gone there and seen? Nobody can go near the sun. If you try to go little closer to the sun, you will vaporize. You will not even become dust. You will become vapor. That's all. Where is the question of going and seeing whether fusion is happening or fission is happening on the sun? The sun is actually reflecting it's also a source of reflection only. It is not an independent source. Brahma yesha jagadanda vidhana karta. Even all, and the chief of all the devatas, including the sun god, is Brahma. And even Brahma is a servant of that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. All the powers of the devatas, like Brahma, Indra, Yamaraj, Shanidev, Lord Shiva, Ganesha, all their powers also are reflected powers. The powers are originally coming from Krishna, and whoever appears powerful in this world, it may be any of the devatas, it may be any of the kings, it may be any of the modern day politicians. All of them are appearing powerful. How? They are not independently powerful. They are simply reflecting the power of Krishna. So, what is this light that the sun is reflecting? If we say the sun is reflecting light, which light? What light is it reflecting? So, if you look at the Upanishads, Mundaka Upanishad and a few other Upanishads, they describe Hiranmaye pare kosham, Hiranmaye pare kosham virajam brahmanishkalam. So, Viraje, the Viraja is called the causal ocean. The Viraja is actually a river, which has two banks. On one bank of the Viraja river is the material manifestation. On the other bank is the spiritual world. But this river, Viraja, is so vast. It's not like an ordinary river in this earth that we get to see. It is so vast, it is almost like an ocean. What we see as an ocean is actually, that extent is similar to that of the river Viraja. So the river Viraja is a neutral place. It is neither material nor spiritual. It's not infected by the three modes of material nature. And on this Viraja river is where Mahavishnu is lying on the Ananta Shayana. He is lying on the bedstead of Ananta. So that Viraja on this side is, on one side of the Viraja river is the material manifestation, other side is the spiritual world. So Hiranmaye pare koshe Virajam. So Hiranmaye pare Virajam. So beyond the Viraja river is the Hiranmaye pare Brahmanishkalam, is the Brahman, is the spiritual effulgence which is Nishkalam. It is uncontaminated, means the three modes of material nature which pervade everything in this material manifestation. Sattoguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, the modes of goodness, passion and ignorance. They do not contaminate that Brahman, that spiritual effulgence. So, Hiranmaya, and that Brahman is Hiranmaya. It is brightly effulgent. Jyotisham Jyotis. That Brahman effulgence is the light of all brilliant light emanating objects. Jyotisham api Jyotis. Yat tat Atma Vido Viduhu. Those who are transcendentalists, those who are spiritualists, they know that all the light, whatever source of light is there, they are all originally coming from that Brahman effulgence. That Brahman effulgence is what is the source of all original light, and every other source of light, whether it is the sun, whether it is the Suryakanta, whether it is the moon, all of them are reflecting that Brahman effulgence. Originally, the sun reflects the Brahman effulgence. That is further reflected by the moon, the other stars, the jewels like Suryakanta, and of course, American diamonds and Swarovski, all of them. So, they are all reflecting the light of the sun, and the sun is reflecting the light of the Brahman effulgence. And because of this Brahman effulgence, now someone may question, okay, we said that all the jewels, they are reflecting the light of the sun. They are not independently, they don't have a source of light. Sun, we said, is reflecting the Brahman effulgence. Now, the Brahman effulgence, where is it getting light from? Whose light is it reflecting? So, the Upanishad, the Mundaka Upanishad, of course, this word appears in other Upanishads also, like Shvetasvatara Upanishad and others. So, the Upanishad state further that na tatra bhati suryo na chandra tarakam. In the spiritual world, which is illuminated by the Brahman effulgence, is there a sun there? Or is there a moon there? Is there some star there? Or is somebody keeping a big powerhouse from where is generating electricity, and by that the Brahman effulgence is getting created? So the Upanishads are stating, na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto kuto yam agnihi. that spiritual world from where this Brahman effulgence is emanating, na tatra suryo bhati, there is no sun there. There is no need of a sun to give light for the Brahman effulgence. Na chandrama, there is no moon also. Nema vidyuto bhati, there is no electricity also there. And kuto ayam agnihi, there is no fire also. So that means the Brahman effulgence is actually independent. And tameva bhanti sarvam, tameva bhanti tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. Everything that appears to be a source of light, it may be the sun, it may be the bulb, whatever it is. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. Everything is emanating, is reflecting that light which is coming from the Brahman effulgence. That means that Brahman effulgence is completely independent. It is not, the Brahman effulgence is not dependent on any other source of light for its effulgence. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. Everything is simply reflecting that bhantam, that brilliant effulgence of the Brahman. And not only that, tasya bhasa sarvam vibhati. That effulgence of Brahman is actually what makes everything visible. So, in effect, what the Shastras are stating, what the Upanishads are stating, what Brahma Samhita is stating is that the original source of light is Brahman, and that Brahman is what is giving out, emanating light, because of which we are able to see things around us, and that light is reflected by the sun, and further reflected by the moon and various jewels, etc. And even fire gets its ability to emanate light by reflecting that Brahman effulgence. Fire in its various forms. Fire in the form of electricity, fire in the form of a flame, whatever it is. Fire also has the property to give out light. So even fire is not an independent source of light. It is simply reflecting the Brahman effulgence. Now, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Brahmano hi pratishta aham. That Krishna is the source of that Brahman. So therefore, that Brahman effulgence is nothing but the brilliant bodily effulgence of Krishna. And so therefore, Krishna is the Adi Purusha. He is the source of everything. Krishna, as it is stated in the Brahma Samhita, Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna is the cause of all causes. Because the Brahman effulgence is Krishna's bodily effulgence, therefore, that effulgence of the Brahman is not different from Krishna himself. And so therefore, the Brahman effulgence is independent in that sense. But at the same time, Brahman effulgence is dependent on Krishna, because without Krishna, there is no existence of Brahman. So, Krishna's bodily effulgence illuminates the entire spiritual world without the need for a sun or a moon or stars, nor for fire, electricity, none of that is needed. Not only that, that effulgence of Krishna's body penetrates the shell of the universe, like we have discussed in the previous verses. There are several layers, each one 10 times bigger than the other, of fire, air, ether, intelligence, etc. Ego, right? So, that effulgence of Krishna penetrates through that shell of the universe, enters this universe, and then is reflected by the sun, and further again reflected by the moon and the jewels, etc. So therefore, for us to even be able to see anything, we are dependent on Krishna. Without Krishna, we cannot even see anything. Sometimes atheists ask, can you show me God? You cannot even see without God. Where is the question of your demanding, I want to see Him? Your power of sight is so limited. If there is an eclipse, and if all the electrical light power is cut off, what will you see? You cannot see anything. Your power of sight is also dependent on God's mercy, on Krishna's mercy. He has mercifully made it possible for us to see things even within this dark universe. So, that Supreme Lord, when he created this material world, he also entered the material universe. As we discussed, that Supreme Lord, Mahavishnu, is lying on the causal ocean. He is lying on the Viraja river, which is neutral, which is neither material nor spiritual. And from that Brahman effulgence, all the material universes have got manifested. Now, within the universe, it is so dark. So, within the universe, the Lord has expanded himself as the Virata Purusha. And that Virata Purusha, as it is mentioned here, a pair of eyes appeared in the universal form. Akshini Chakshur Etayoho. Tasmat. The Virata Purusha manifested his eyes, and from those eyes of the Virata Purusha, the sense of light came, and in the wake of this sense came the sun god. So, the Lord has expanded himself. Krishna has expanded himself as Narayana, and Krishna is in Goloka Vrindavan. So, being in Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna has expanded himself into Narayana in the Vaikuntha planets. That Narayana has expanded into Mahavishnu, who is lying on the Viraja river. So, stage by stage is coming out of the spiritual world. Goloka Vrindavan is like the bowl of the lotus. It is the central portion of the whole manifestation, right? Spiritual manifestation. So, that's the central core. From there, Krishna expands into Narayana, which is surrounding like the petals of the wall. That is the Vaikuntha planets. Then beyond that wall of the lotus, beyond the petals of the lotus, there is the Viraja river. So on that, Narayana further expands into Mahavishnu. And then from there further, beyond the other bank of Viraja is the material manifestation. So Mahavishnu further expands into the Virata Purusha and enters into the universe. And that Virata Purusha, when he manifested his different senses, Grana Vayurabhidyetam, in the wake of the olfactory sense came the wind god. Now you see, all the devatas are getting manifested. They are taking birth. First, if you remember previously, first the senses, then the sense objects came into existence, right? Now, the Virata Purusha came into existence, then the organs of the senses are coming into existence. And when the organ of sense is coming, associated with them, associated with that sense organ, there is a devata also getting manifested who will control and supervise that organ. So, already the senses have been created. Sense of sight, smell, touch, sound, they have all already been created. That has already been explained in the previous verses of this chapter. Now, the sense organs are getting created. That means the sense organs and the senses are actually different. Like for instance, I may have eyes, but if I am blind, the eyes cannot see. That means the sense of sight is different from the sense organ. Isn't it? The sense of sight is different from the sense organ, which is the eye. The eye may be the medium for us to express that sense of sight. But suppose, for example, my eyes are closed. Can you see anything? Can you see anything if your eyes are closed? You can't see. How can you see? For example, in the night when you are sleeping, you see a vivid dream. You are going somewhere, you have become a king, you are ruling over some subjects. Nice dream. Sometimes you get nightmares also. Ghosts are coming and attacking you. Some tiger is chasing you. You are running. Somebody is coming to kill you. Nightmares also you see, right? There you are seeing forms. You are seeing people. You are seeing plants. You are seeing trees. You are seeing vehicles. Right? You are seeing, but your eyes are closed. Your eye is not working, but your sense of sight is still working. So you see, your sense of sight is different from your sense organ of eyes. Similarly, for the ears, for the nose, for the tongue, all of the senses. So, therefore, the senses, the subtle senses have already been created. Now, the Virata Purusha is manifesting the sense organs, and then with each sense organ, the associated devata who presides over that sense organ is also being manifested. And that is how Nirabhidyatasya Prathamam Mukham Vani Tato Abhavat. First of all, a mouth appeared in the Virat Purusha, then came forth the organ of speech. The sense of speech is already created. Now the organ of speech is getting created. And with it, the god of fire, the deity who presides over that organ. So speech is presided over by Agni Deva. And then pair of nostrils appeared, and in them, Vanya Vakhnir Atho Nase, Pranoto Grana Etayoho. So then a pair of nostrils appeared, and in them, the olfactory sense as well as prana. And prana is presided over by Vayudeva, the wind god. Granat Vayur Abhidyetam, Akshini Chakshurayatayoho Tasmat Suryo. And the sense of sight is presided over by the sun god, Surya. And Karnau Shrotam Tato Dishaha. And from the sun god came a pair of ears, and the ears are presided over by the Dig Devatas, the deities who preside over the directions. Because ultimately, sound is present in ether, that means space, and the space is presided over by the Dig Devatas, and so therefore the Dig Devatas are overseeing sound, overseeing the ears, the functioning of the organ of hearing, which is the ears. So in this way, gradually, one after another, all the items which are required for living entities to lord it over material nature are getting created. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kaunteya jagad viparivartate. Right? Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita. Under Krishna's supervision, the material world is getting created. As Prabhupada is mentioning here, under my direction does material nature create all moving and non-moving objects in the cosmic creation. And hetunanena jagad viparivartate. And the living entities are doing what? They are struggling to lord it over material nature. So that to give facility for the living entities to lord it over material nature, the Supreme Lord Krishna has expanded himself into Narayana, Narayana into Mahavishnu, Mahavishnu into Virat Purusha, and Virat Purusha is manifesting all the sense organs, so that material sense organs, so that the living entities who are born in this material universe, they can possess these organs and they can try to lord it over material nature. This is the compassion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has not rejected us. He has not thrown us into the material world and said, you guys don't want to surrender to me, therefore get lost. You go to hell. I'm not bothered about you. No. The Lord is so compassionate. He's making so many such arrangements so that we can try to satisfy our desire to be independently, to enjoy independent of Krishna. Krishna is so compassionate. He's going to such great lengths simply to satisfy our desire to enjoy independent of him. You see? And such a complex arrangement, Krishna has made it possible just because we want to enjoy in the material world independent of him. Will anybody take so much endeavor to give, to satisfy somebody's desire to enjoy independent of him? In this material world, it is all a barter system, give and take. You give me some enjoyment, I will give you some enjoyment in return. You go to office and you work, you earn profit for the company, company will pay you salary. Now if you tell the company, no, I don't want to work for you, I will sit at home and I will enjoy, you send money to my account. Will they send? They will send you notice. Why you are not coming to office? Why you are not performing? We will remove you from the job. Why we should pay you salary? Correct? No. Now you go to court, you take that notice and go to court. I don't want to work, but they are not paying me salary. Will the court listen? They'll say, you madman, first you go and work. No. If you work, you will get some money. So all relationships in this material world are based on this. I give you an opportunity to enjoy, you give me an opportunity to enjoy. If I don't supply your enjoyment, then you will not supply me enjoyment. But look at the Lord, we want to be completely independent of Krishna. We don't want to give him any enjoyment. We want to enjoy completely independent. Krishna is taking such great endeavor, making such a complex arrangement so that we can try to fulfill our desire. This is the love of Krishna for his part and parcel living entities. That is why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that Pitaham Sarvabhutasya, that he is the seed-giving father of all living entities. So that Supreme Lord, out of fatherly affection, he is going to great endeavors to make all these arrangements so that we can try to fulfill our desire. It is not actually possible to enjoy independent of Krishna. That we are not willing to accept. So Krishna says, okay, no problem. I'll make every possible arrangement so that you can try to fulfill your desire, so that you understand that it is impossible to enjoy independent of me. So like a loving father, Krishna has made all this arrangement, and it is incumbent upon the living entities who have got the human form of body to see through all this arrangement, understand the compassion and love of Krishna, and go back to him, give up this desire to enjoy independent of him and go back to him. So, the entire material creation, material arrangement is going on account of Krishna, as we can see. All the olfactory senses, the organ of speech, the organ of olfactory sense, the organ of sight, the organ of hearing, all of these things are made possible. Their existence and their creation is made possible because of the Lord's personal intervention. Material nature cannot create anything by itself. Everything, it becomes very clear from this description of the Srimad-Bhagavatam. At every stage of the creation, the Supreme Lord has to intervene. His hand has to be there. Otherwise, this material manifestation cannot exist. It could not have come into existence, and it cannot sustain its existence also. So at every step of creation and its maintenance and its dissolution, at every step, the Supreme Lord is involved. So when a devotee looks at the Supreme, looks at the world, looks at the universe, when he dwells upon how this universe has been created, he can see only Krishna everywhere. He can see how Krishna's energy is working because of Krishna's will, Krishna's desire. Therefore, everything is dependent upon him. Not even a blade of grass can move without him. And devotee, when he understands this, whatever he sees, wherever he sees, sthavara jangama dekhe, na dekhe taramurti. He cannot see anything material. Oh, a tree is standing. Oh, there is some bricks there. Oh, this is a building. This is a plane. He cannot see all those things. He only sees the wonderful energy, of the wonderful way in which the energy of Krishna is working under his direction. Every moment, whenever the devotee sees the material world, immediately he will recall Krishna saying, Maya dhikshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. No matter how wonderful a material manifestation may be, a devotee, when he sees, oh, this is how wonderful Krishna's supervision is, that the material nature is working so wonderfully. So this is the vision of a devotee. Sthavara jangama dekhe, na dekhe taramurti. Whether animate or inanimate objects, whatever a devotee sees, he sees Krishna's hand there. Sarvatra ishta deva spurti. Everywhere he sees Krishna. Everything becomes an inspiration, spurti, an inspiration to remember Krishna. So Uddipana, when a pure devotee looks at the material world, when we look at the material world, what is our first reaction? Our reaction is, oh, this is a nice thing I can enjoy. But when a pure devotee sees anything, immediately he gets a reminder of Krishna. He becomes absorbed in the ecstasy of how wonderful is my Krishna, such a wonderful creation he has made. So for us to be able to develop that vision, when every atom also, when we are able to see Krishna, to develop that vision, it is important and necessary to see, to understand, to know how the Supreme Lord has created this whole material manifestation. That is why Bhagavatam is elaborately describing how the organ of the eyes came into existence, how the organ of the ears came into existence. Otherwise, what is the need to understand all this? But a devotee is very keen on hearing all this, because every moment he can see Krishna's will, Krishna's hand. Oh, Krishna is doing like this, Krishna is doing like this. How wonderful this is. So therefore, this chapter, this third canto of the Srimad-Bhagavatam, which describes how the material creation comes into existence, is very important for a devotee to develop the conviction and faith in Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and to be able to develop the vision that everywhere, whatever you see, it reminds you of Krishna. No more matter, everything becomes spiritual. That is the meaning when we say, for a pure devotee, nothing is material, everything is spiritual. Sthavara jangama dekhe na dekhe tyara murti. He doesn't see material forms. He sees everywhere Spurti, Ishtadeva Spurti, his dear Lord, how he has made this wonderful creation. You look at the sun, oh my God, the Lord, he has made such a brilliant planet, the sun, which is emanating so much heat and light, which is a fragment of the reflection of his effulgence. So you see the sun, you remember Krishna. You see the moon, you remember Krishna. You see the ocean, you remember Krishna. You see some tree, you remember Krishna. You see some building, you remember Krishna. Anything you see, you'll immediately remember Krishna. That is possible by properly understanding these aspects of how the material creation has come into existence. So I'll stop here. If there are any questions or comments, we can discuss. Yes, Raghav Prabhu. Original light and the reflected light will be of the same quality. Yes.
How is it right to understand in sun planet maybe some phenomenal process by which this Brahman effulgence light triggered this material sunlight?
Actually, the Shastras state that all the material universes are emanating from the Brahman effulgence only. So Brahman effulgence is the cause of the entire material world. That is fact. Second thing, what you mentioned about the quality of the light being reflected is the same as the source of the light. That's what you said, right? What you have to understand is, all the qualities that are present in the source of light may not be there in the reflected light. For example, you take a Swarovski crystal, okay? Or for example, you take a Suryakanta jewel. Suryakanta jewel, when it reflects that sunlight, it will reflect light as well as fire. It will generate both. So it has got a fairly high degree of reflecting, but the quantity is much lesser than what is coming from the sun. Now you take another lesser jewel, like a diamond or let us say Swarovski jewel. What happens? There is no fire there. Only some amount of light comes. Heat, very little. Correct? You will not get any heat. Practically no heat you will get when a Swarovski is reflecting light. If you go and stand in winter, bitter cold, let me go and stand near a Swarovski crystal. Will you get any heat? You will not get any heat. So in the reflected light source, not all the qualities are there which are there in the original source. Similarly, the sun is also reflecting the Brahman effulgence. So all the qualities of Brahman effulgence will not be present in the light reflected by the sun. Some qualities are there. What are the qualities? The quality of giving light and heat is there. But the quality of giving transcendental knowledge, anybody touches Brahman effulgence, he'll become self-realized. Will he become self-realized by standing in the sun? Then everybody, all these trees which are standing in the sun for thousands of years must be the most self-realized personalities. It doesn't happen like that, no. So that quality of revealing transcendental knowledge doesn't exist in the reflected Brahman effulgence. So that's how we have to understand. So the qualities keep reducing. If you take a plastic jewel, very little light will get reflected. Quality is very dim. Very dim. Suryakanta will emanate heat also, but little quantity, not to the extent of the sun. So that's how we have to understand. All right? So we'll stop here. Grantharaj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai, Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari.